Hello, everyone. My name is Jack Reedinger, and I am interning at the Bliss Institute this semester. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be talking to several alumni about their time both here at the University of Akron and their futures as they have gone on. Today, I'm here with Greg Bennett. Greg, thank you for taking the time to sit down with me.
Of course, thank you.
So the first thing I want to ask you is just, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Jack. So I grew up in Lakewood, Ohio, originally just outside of Cleveland, before attending the University of Akron. And what I did is I chose to pursue a degree in political science and criminal justice at the university. Before graduating, I officially moved to the Columbus area. That was both during and following an internship through the Bliss Institute of Applied Politics at the university. And I've been in Columbus for now going on nearly a decade since graduating in 2012. And then currently, I am Vice President of Government Affairs at Byers Minton and Associates in downtown Columbus. We are a Columbus-based multi-client government affairs firm. We represent dozens of companies and organizations of all shapes and sizes before state and local government. Right across the street is the Ohio State House. And we work on issues related to economic development, education, energy, healthcare, transportation. And then outside of work, I'm chairman of the Bliss Institute Professional Network, which was a group that was developed by alumni, and it is for alumni and students aimed at strengthening and developing networks for our current students as well as the alumni that are in the Central Ohio region. And additionally, I'm volunteering for the American Cancer Society, our Central Ohio Community Shelter Board, as well as the Association of Ohio Commodores. And to put a bow on it, I have a wonderful wife and a beautiful little 2-year-old daughter who keep me busy every single day.
Well, there you go. That's awesome. You talked a little bit about how you got there and how you got the job that you have today, but can you go a little more detailed into that process?
Yeah, so in my last semester at the university, I took an internship through the degree program in the government affairs department at a statewide nonprofit. And what that nonprofit did is they worked on energy and environmental issues. And I was fortunate enough to receive a position following graduation at that same organization to educate candidates of the Ohio General Assembly on the economic benefits of energy and public utilities policy in the state of Ohio. Following that work during that campaign, I was then selected to the Ohio Legislative Service Commission Fellowship. There, you're assigned to work within the institution of state governments at the Ohio General Assembly. And I was a fellow in the Ohio Senate, working for, at the time, several members who are now either in statewide elected office or members of Congress, which is wonderful to see, frankly. And I really got a lot of great experience from those different personalities of the various members and different office environments. And then following that fellowship, I was offered an official position as the legislative aide to Senator, who is now Congressman, Troy Balderson out of the Southeast Ohio area. So got to learn a lot about the issues affecting the people and constituents in Southeast Ohio, which was different growing up in Lakewood, Ohio, up in Northeast Ohio. So that was a fantastic experience and time working for the senator for nearly 3 years. And then I joined the government affairs team at Byers Minton and Associates and have been with this firm for over 5 years on behalf of clients before the General Assembly.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for going into that. Now, looking back a couple of years ago, what made you decide to attend the University of Akron and then to also study politics?
Sure. Yeah. So originally, when looking at colleges and universities, and I didn't look at many, I kind of knew what I wanted in terms of the size of the university or college, the experience that at the time I thought I wanted, as well as the degree pathways. And originally, I wanted to focus on Homeland Security and perhaps, work my way toward being in the FBI or the State Department. And when I visited the University of Akron, I fell in love with the campus, the environments, and then, further discovered the political science department and the highly reputable Bliss Institute. And the university felt, in a sense, large, which is what I was looking for, but the campus was compact, which I really, really liked about that. So it was modern with these new facilities and investments in the students. And plus, I was able to take classes pertaining to my interests in kind of that Homeland Security, criminal justice, political science arena. And part of the degree path is that you get real world experience through the internship program. So that was an added bonus. And little did I know that at the time, the true massive impact that the university and of course, narrowing that down to the Bliss Institute and the political science department would have on my career and my lifelong love of learning.
And then how do you think that when you were here at Akron and looking back on it, how do you think that the experiences that you had here have helped you succeed in the professional world?
Yeah, so the university and then the Racy Bliss Institute provided so many opportunities for students and myself, both in the academic arena and the co-curricular arena or extracurricular arena. The professors, cared about your success. The departments offered interesting classes that were necessary to build that foundation for whatever your degree interests were. By preparing you for that real life experience upon graduation. And in fact, the Bliss Institute requires that you receive real world experience through an internship, which in politics and public policy is an absolute must. You take that foundation of academics that you get at the university and that I received, the knowledge from your professors and fellow students that you're learning from their shared experiences or their own unique experiences, and you apply it to your internship and then ultimately your career. And you bring your own experiences to the table. So you're helping others learn at the university. So there's really no better recipe for professional success that I've seen. And I'll be forever grateful for that.
And looking back on your time here, are there any specific classes, professors, or internships that made a significant impact on you?
Yeah, certainly. I've got several. If you don't mind me taking a couple minutes here. So, starting with my very first political science class at the University of Akron, and it was taught by Dr. David Cohen. And it was a class on essentially the workings of the federal government. And this is where I was officially introduced to the idea of lobbying and government affairs. I didn't really have any idea that it existed or the nature in which it existed. And I was fascinated by what I saw and what Dr. Cohen taught as it pertains to this area of political and policy work. And I saw it as the perfect combination of kind of politics, business, and law, where you didn't really need a severe focus in any of those, but it was this kind of perfect storm of interest that I had. And, I essentially set my mind on wanting to do that as a professional and really never looked back. And then, going on to more of a niche area, I might also say that Dr. Terry O'Sullivan was a major influence on me for, as a student. He was a professor in the political science department. He focused a lot on homeland security issues and public health. And, I took many of his classes because of my degree in political science and criminal justice with my focus on homeland security. And this is where I learned about what's called environmental homeland security. So those are things like critical infrastructure protection, grid protection, distributed electric generation, whether it be renewable energy or making sure that we don't have a centralized system that is susceptible to attacks. And this combined with Dr. Cohen's classes really focused me on wanting to be in government affairs while also working more specifically on the energy and public utility space more precisely. And then, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Professor Mark Rittenauer. He's out of the communications department. Mm-hmm. So I took a couple of classes of his on speech and was ultimately asked to join the university's forensics team. At the time, I had no idea what forensics was, and essentially it's another term for speech and debate. And I figured, wow, this is something that's new. I like to challenge myself. I don't know that I'd be any good at it. But he was the coach, and he offered me a position on the team. An important part of being a successful student, at least that I've seen, and of course a professional, is your ability to effectively communicate, whether that be verbal or written communication. And Professor Rittenauer influenced how I spoke, how I wrote, and I'll be forever grateful for all the time that he put into me and the support that he gave me to build me from, this timid student who kept his head down and did his work and got decent grades to an effective, confident communicator, no matter the audience that I'm speaking to.
Perfect. Yeah, you went into a lot of good stuff there that was really interesting to learn about. Now, moving on, were there any times that you can think back on what during your time here at the university that stick out to you? They don't have to be about politics, but just a memory that you believe helped and impacted you.
Yeah, there are a lot of memories, but I'll focus more so on one that was near the end of my my academic career. So, one of the best memories that I've had at the university was having the opportunity and honor to speak before the university president and the board of trustees about essentially my time and experience at the university over the previous 3.5 years. It was, the way I saw it, a nice culmination, or looking back on it, I should say, it was a nice culmination of, the commitment that I put into my degree work, my time working as a research assistant at the Bliss Institute, and the weekends, frankly, that I spent in other states giving these 10-minute informative and persuasive speeches for the university speech and debate team. I think I had a unique college experience, and I put a lot of myself into those opportunities that were provided by the university, into those co-curricular activities. And, speaking before the board with my parents and, those professors that I mentioned in attendance that had an enormous influence on me, that showed nothing but support. It was a nice way to say thank you for supporting me along the way, and ultimately giving back to me as much as I thought that I put into the university. So I would say that was probably the best experience, one of the best memories that I had at the university.
Great. And then my last question for you is, what advice would you have for people studying political science right now, or for people considering going into that realm in the future?
Sure. Number one, I would say be a consummate learner and listener. Get involved in as much as you're capable of doing, not overly stressing yourself, but whether it be helping out on a local campaign, even if it's stuffing envelopes and writing up, memos, talking to your professors about the political trends and issues at their office hours, anything like that. And don't be afraid to ask questions. There's an art component and a science component to politics and public policy overall, at least from what I've learned. And I continue to learn about new policy areas, new political strategies, the new people that are coming into the world, into this field, whether they're elected officials, advocates for particular issues, or political staff. And I learn new stuff every single day. There can be something different every 15 minutes in this world on a day-to-day basis. It's challenging, but ultimately it's fun. And I continue to be a listener. I don't know nearly everything. There are people out there that have forgotten more than I may ever know about the political realm. But so I would say soaking up as much information as you can from as many people who've done and are doing whatever it is you're interested in, or whatever field you're interested in. I can't recommend that enough. I continue to do it to this day. And if I was talking to a student, I would say, build your network, reach out to those folks, and learn as much as you possibly can, because they've been there. They've done it. Perhaps they would, tell you to go one way and not another way because of experiences that they've had that were either good or bad. So I hope that was enough for you, but constant learner and continue to ask questions.
Yes, that was plenty, a lot of good stuff. Greg, thank you again for sitting down with me today. My name is Jack Riedinger, and I am interning at the Bliss Institute. Make sure to continue watching these videos, as I'm going to be talking to several different alumni. Greg, thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Jack. You too.